Alright, ladies and gentlemen, viewers of all ages, blah blah blah. We've arrived at episode 53. We have passed the, we've passed the, like, what, 1/12th mark of the season. That doesn't really sound like much of a milestone, does it? Anyway, 53. It is, I predict it's calm before the storm. It's not exactly all that calm either. There's still a couple of spills and thrills in there, but it's like we're getting close to the first championship. Episode 55 is going to be like this big deal with the 720 class and all that for the championship. Don't ask me why, but we decided we were doing the 720 championship before the 680 championship. I don't understand it either. And, yeah. Appropriate episode 53, and the 53 car is on the, opening shot. Alright, and the first race of the episode is away. Tokyo Expressway hosts a 630 class event. 630? What? 680? Where did I get 30 from that? What? Okay, Riker. James Falcon and his 2002 NSX is the focal point of this race, since he's the one starting last. And he's currently surrounded by Toyotas. And Nidori is also there. One of the bigger stories that I've heard out of the last week or so is Travis Wilde's 930 Porsche is looking quite different. We almost ran his buddy over, and James Falcon almost ran him over. From what I have been told, specifically by Travis Wilde himself, the story is he's actually sold off his GT1 Strawson version. He wasn't really getting many results out of the machine, and the value of that thing is way higher than what he was getting out of it trying to win races in it, when it has so little horsepower that it can't keep up with cars like Thrasher's Mach 40 or all of the Vipers and modern Lamborghinis in the grids in the 720 class. I figure that money would be better invested in something else, namely the 930 Porsche, which now I think has has Francesca Fidanzi missing her braking point and running into the back of it. Shockingly, no damage to Travis, but that will be some damage to Fidanzi herself. Her teammate Eric hasn't done any better at avoiding damage either, so those are going to be some repair bills for old man Fidanzi after this one, that's for sure. I think Francesca just gave Eric more damage on the way into the pit lane. Falcon's already almost into the top 3. He might be in the top 3 by the end of the straightaway. The short gear ratios of Garrison's Gen 2 Corvette really kicking him in the butt there. Her Spurs, not great braking though. So Travis Wilde just scrapes up his new Porsche by getting the braking wrong into turn 1. You'll hate to see that. But yes, I think this is the rough weld body kit on the Porsche, the 930. And that means he's also finally made it so that the front bumper is the same color as the rest of the car, instead of the white mask that he had before when he tore the factory bumper off of the car. It's been a rough road for most Porsche drivers in the series, to be honest. As Falcon is clear of Schwartz, and he is now chasing after Dom DePrisco for the lead. of this event. Meanwhile, there is like somebody moving up the field. You know, as you do. Dom's not quite giving him a lane to try and make a pass. He might not have a choice here, though. That's quite a run for the Honda. Nope, still... Falcon sweeps across, but Dom crosses him over and remains in the lead, and I have a sneaking suspicion that the Countach is going to pretty heftily outclass that NSX on this very long front stretch. Yeah, even with the benefits of a draft, Falcon is not making up a whole lot of space on DePrisco. They're basically at a dead heat. The only thing is, Falcon's out of gears, and Dominic is absolutely not. So I was correct. Countach is going to outclass the NSX in the straight line, but what will Falcon have to say now that we've returned to the land of cornering? Where I believe that his NSX is one of the lightest in the category. Barely weighing in over a ton. I think it's like 2160 or something? Pounds, that is. Dom covers him off, heading through the long left. He can't hold him back there forever. Maybe he can, I don't know. Dom's got a mixture of offensive and defensive driving talents. That also helps James Falcon had a chance there and just kind of scraped the wall, losing all of his speed. Again, Dom employing some defensive driving maneuvers. Oh, yeah, there's more offensive driving. It just puts James Falcon into the barriers. I don't know much about his temperament. I don't know how Falcon's going to react to that. Is it going to be just a case of just be better? Or is it going to be a case of just eat barrier? He didn't go for contact there. He's instead just going to go for late braking. He will still not succeed. And we're going to have a repeat. Oh, no! Oh! You know, I let him off light last week, following Fuji. I have to get a better look at this, see if he's really to blame here, but it doesn't paint the most attractive picture. This is a tough call, gotta be honest. Let's get a chase cam view of this crash. I really don't know. I think this is actually technically on Falcon. Like, Dom's taking that line, he just kind of arrives at the apex. Dom doesn't think he's going to be there, and suddenly he is, and he's just trying to make the exit of the turn straight as possible, and suddenly there's a Honda there, and thunk. It's not really going to be much damage to the NSX. Certainly just going to buff out a couple of scrapes. He's going to, I think, just about rejoin the track ahead of or alongside Schwartz. And he'll pull back ahead. So by however means you deem it, still going to be a warning issued, but Dom DePrisco is going to take this victory at Tokyo Expressway. James Falcon will remain in P2. He's obviously displeased. Cedric Schwartz will finish on the podium with him. The drag race to the line, Thrasher just barely picks off Scott Webber for P5. In spite of her damage on lap 1, Francesca comes back to finish P12. Potentially due to the fact that I think everybody else around her probably also took damage at some point. It's not been the greatest day for Scuderia Fidanzi, though, I can tell you that right now. Hasn't been great for, well, I mean, Scorchers, there's only one representative here, that is Taro, so... And he finishes dead last. So yeah, I'm gonna go give... well, I'm not gonna do that now, I'm just gonna wait for later. On to round 2. Race 2 of episode 53 is underway, and, well, it's the thumbnail driver. 640 class racing here at Kyoto Park. And the focus is on Natori Kawashiro in her repossessed Charge Challenger. Wow, that's... what was that, man? Of course, for those who are not in the know, this was originally the vehicle of Alice in Chains. However, when she was taken into custody, my god, me, they had to do a retake at this rate. When she was taken into custody by Alice in Chains, this Dodge Challenger was taken to the police impound lot and later a scrapyard. An interview came across the vehicle in said scrapyard and said, "Hey, can I get my hands on that?" And here we are. Alright, Stephanie. She's been getting a little clumsy lately. She had the run-in with Schwartz not too long ago as Damien pits in for damage. I'm not sure what the source of that was then. Oh no, don't tell me. Thrasher... well, actually that's not really Thrasher, that's Damien's brake testing, pretty much. Like, nobody else is going into that corner that slowly, so we have that answer, and it's Damien's fault. He's taking a 65-mile-an-hour corner at 47 or so. Looks like he might be one of, if not the only driver on the track who has damage to fix. Yeah, he is. He's the only car on the track with damage. Scorch is ahead of Rebecca Briggs. The outside of Rentonen. Cleared. Some other members of JSR are currently holding down the fort at the front. I think Brendan Reed's trying to play defense for Fidel. Mitri says, to hell with your defending, I am in second place now. Mika Harris might just have spotted an opportunity to follow her through and does so. So, Brendan's head of steam has since vanished. And I figure it's only a matter of time before Fidel will suffer the same fate. I understand Jake has been cognizant of the fact that not a whole lot of his drivers on JSR have been getting massive results. since the formation of the team. I believe, really, I don't know if they have any wins other than, I think Jake himself might have one, and then Damien might have one? No. They could have easily had one, but they snatched defeat from the jaws of victory at Northern Isle not too long ago. No, wait, no, that was the race that Damien did win. I'm dumb. So he has a win. Tyler has one win. I think Jake might have one. But the rest of JSR doesn't seem to have any victories. And it doesn't seem like today is going to be their day either, because Nitari is just kind of running away with this one on the final lap. Mika Harris is kind of trying to stay in sight, but she's got both JSR cars there who are now, it looks like they're about to battle for that third podium spot. Brendan would need a solid exit, but he doesn't quite have that. Seems like Thrasher and Fernando on subsequent laps got damage. I fear as though Thrasher may have given more people damage. The big-ass truck probably doesn't have the greatest braking capability, I have to assume. And so as the co-admin heads out of the last corner, Kappa will take the victory here in Kyoto Park. Not by a huge margin, though. Mika Harris is right there to take second. Fidel will remain on the podium as a 3-4 finish for JSR, so not a win, but certainly much more solid results all around than what those two have been putting up since the team formed. Ay, yeah. That was about right. Thrasher, I think maybe it's time for this truck to go. That just is ugly. And some suspension damage too. Luckily, the Merak isn't really the most pricey car. I think it's probably the cheapest car Scuderia Fidenza utilizes. But fixing that still isn't fun. And race 3 is green for the third straight race here in Japan this week. We are here at Suzuka East 600 class racing. It's about the only car class that's slow enough to where you can actually have a, wheel-to-wheel close quarters racing through the S's and not instantly die, or cause someone else to die. Consistently. I mean, think back to the very early episodes when we had Jake Scarborough versus Takahata through the S's. That was a 680 car battling the 720. As everyone seems to keep it undamaged through the first lap of the race. At the moment, Lynette Mulsanne, probably given some form of renewed spirit after her, I say chance meeting. I mean, they're running in the same series. They're gonna meet each other eventually. Her instance of coming across the drivers of her favorite team, Logitech Meyer F1, is leading the way in her A110, but she has Reiko Mishima and Dexter Rollins for company as they head through the S's for the third time. Thomas wants a pass through turn 1. He's managed to insert his vehicle there, and he gets clear. I just didn't have a whole lot in me today. I had a lot of oversteer, I can tell you that much. I don't know why I'm acting like I'm caught off guard by that happening. I knew that I did it. It was me. Of course I know him. He's me. I'm the one that did that, and I'm still like startled by my own mistakes. As you can see at this point, I was still running P12 more than halfway through the race. I was starting to get a little bit desperate to make up some time, and that resulted in the car becoming ornery, as you know, shall we say. Mulsanne is currently doing the very Formula 1 thing of just controlling the speed, going just fast enough to not let Reiko Mishima get any sort of advantage, but I don't think she's super pushing that car either. But even still, that might come up short in a moment. Mishima has quite a run on Mulsanne, but the run died off the second she reached 4th gear. As we begin the final lap, O'Reilly is putting Rollins under some pressure. No, he is not related to Satoshi Rollins. Yeah, it was a race to forget for me, to say the least. I'm like the first focus point driver to just literally not get a top 10 on pace. Other drivers have DNF'd before, but we've never been this mid. As Lynette Mulsanne, the opposite of mid, is out of the last turn, she just grabs the victory here at Suzuka East. Top 4 basically under a blanket, Alice Carson in 5th, not that far away. And I could not even take Cisco Fidanzi at the line. Just not my best work. These S14s are like a curse for me or something. I don't fucking know. I'm just making up excuses at this point. I just suck. Race 4 of the episode is green. It is 7:20 racing at the Red Bull Ring. And I love the starting grid randomization for this one, as it's the admins are 1, 2, and 4. And while I'm not about to say that there's any truth to Jake's speculation that the random number generator is rigged somehow, this certainly doesn't really go too far to prove it otherwise, because he started in last. He's already passed McIntosh, but you know, the point is he started last, and he's gonna put on his tinfoil hat and be like, hey yo, what the fuck? I love the, like, incredibly redundant AMG logo above the license plate, which has the AMG logo on it. Yeah, in case you didn't know that this car was an AMG model, here you go. Jake has spotted Takahata fighting Terrence Blackpool ahead of him. He's currently being cut off by this. No longer. Now, these two being near each other on the track kinda concerns me, if I must be honest. So there goes Jake. And the downfall just continues, doesn't it? Like, has this guy ever heard of locking down the fucking brake? Like, okay, that's bad enough. Now he hears that, he hears the tires. He just does nothing. He's just like, well, whatever happens, happens. If he were on the brakes, he wouldn't have gone back onto the racetrack, and he wouldn't have smacked into me. So now we both have fucking damage. Thank you, DiFuoco. This Scarborough almost just sends Eric Wisjowski to the Shadow Realm, braking for one. Asher is by no means running away at the moment, but he does have a pretty comfortable margin. What the hell? Did I just hear back here? Oh, they were 3 wide at the apex. Okay, that was just bizarre. I must be honest. So the 3 wide at the apex. Jake is, you know, he's allowed to get there. He got to the inside, like, during the braking zone. It was a little aggressive, but I think both drivers had a chance to know, oh, there's a third car here, and change their line accordingly, but Eric didn't really do that. So they both sandwich Erica basically at the apex. Jake's over there on the curb, so there's not a whole lot he can do to avoid what comes next. They both curb pop, Jake remains straight, but Erica Roth is just like, well... And she rejoins into the door of Wojciechowski, but neither car seems to have registered damages. Gemini says, thank you very much, I'll take that free spot. Natsuki's almost in range to do the same. Erica would like that back. They remain 2 wide out of turn 4, but Gemini just has the better acceleration on the exit. Looking to get on to the podium positions, passing this F430 ahead. Jake has quite a run there. Alright, classic mother interruption. Doesn't seem like I can go an episode without that nowadays. It's an hour and a half time span. Like, these aren't that long. Making the episodes is longer than recording them. Anyway, so Jake just gets ahead of Nitori into P2. He's in an admin sandwich, and then there's just Mizoto right on the back of Kawashiro trying to find an advantage against her as we've just crossed the halfway mark. Well, he decides his chance is now, and, well, it seems he was correct. I forgot about this. Yeah, Veronica's back from like a month's hiatus. It's a story for another time. I really should have been looking at the battle for the lead. Jake just sneaks to the outside of turn 4, it looks like, and then he just out-drags the shit out of the Mach 40. Okay, that was relatively anticlimactic. Now he just has to carry on as planned for the next lap and a quarter, basically. I was about to say, man, this race is really spread out. And then I got into this battle in the midfield and determined that it wasn't. Uh-oh. Stephanie? Oh boy. What am I gonna do with you? Yeah, there is no battle for the lead. There is no battle. It does not exist. It's all in your head. Actually, there's more of a battle for 4th place as Eric is catching up to Nituri. Gemini is kind of there as well to pick up the pieces if somehow this goes horribly wrong, but I have relative faith in these two that they can keep it relatively clean. I thought Eric was going straight into the back of Nituri there the second that I said that. Now Mizoto has actually caught up to Thrasher, but I feel like it's a bit too late to take that position from him. There's not really a good the last corner here. Not the most amazing passing zone ever. Mostly means that this 3-car train is pretty much squandered too. And therefore, Jake will head out of the last turn. And he will see the checkered flag to win at Red Bull Ring. Thrasher will stay just ahead of Mizoto to take 2nd place. Nituri 4th, Eric, Gemini, Erica, Natsuki, Riley, and Danvers top 10. And I am annoyed. The fact that I still finished 14th is just kind of sad because that meant I just led the group of people that took damage during the race. Literally, like, best of the worst, in a matter of speaking. It's like, oh, I was the one that was least damaged, or at the very least I was the one that got it the earliest, so I was able to have the most time to recover from it. It's no doubt a hollow victory, if you'd even call it a victory at all. And the roulette race is green. We head to Dragon Trail for this final round of this episode. And the camera is on the 720 class Porsche Cayman of Charlotte Riel, who's currently being covered off by another Porsche driver in the form of Stephanie, and has found a curb, got oversteer, has found my dad, got oversteer, is not getting any room from my dad, nearly getting turned a 2nd time, somehow survives the mess that was that first chicane. And this is just a clusterfuck right here. Summers is just blocking all traffic. I just saw Riel take an incredibly wide berth at the hairpin. Obviously still not able to get around Stephanie because that car is not in the same category. Everyone takes the death chicane as cautiously as reasonably possible. Obviously this is still a race, you don't want to take it at the speed limit, but you don't take it too fast. What the heck was that braking? Asher's battling his teammate, Brandt. It's always a sketchy driver to battle, just because you're always at a huge power disadvantage, but a huge cornering advantage. You're consumingly near of escape. And acceleration. Schwartz and Page are the only 760 class cars here. Oh my god, Valentine, keep it on the circuit. Because I was saying Schwartz and Page are the only German... No, they're not the only German. I was just looking at the German flags. The only 760 class cars here as Schwartz misses the hairpin altogether. They're definitely not the only German driver. There are at least 4 of them. There are 4 of them. Wow, Colin Morris is not having a good day. He must have had to fix his car or something along the way. My dad must have done so too. He's behind Emmy and Ivan, who are in 600 class cars, and Scott Weber, for that matter. Brandt's braking defensively. I don't really feel like he has a lot of nerve doing that in a car such as his own. He gets a massive slide on exit. And he's not going to be able to... No, he is going to get clear, McIntosh. He found a lane. I suppose it is basically a fool's errand trying to block this car. Might as well just wait for him to have to brake and send it. Which is exactly what Tyler just did. Getting 5th place back. Riel is caught and is now over... I can't even keep up with how fast that progressed. Riel is now leading her category of that pass on Paul Valentine. Also, God, Stephanie. I totally forgot that this was a 760 class car. It just isn't running like one because she isn't even clear of all of the 720s yet. She's still... Even if we ignore that Riel was the Focus car, she still has to get past the actual Focus car and Tyler just to be, you know, running with their other drivers in the same class. You know, Schwartz and Page. Very close under the brakes. Managing to avoid a collision, though. As McIntosh has finally fallen down. Never mind, he's gonna send it back on Brandt again. Brandt is not giving him any space. Tyler will create his own and get back ahead of the S13. S13 in quotes. I think you could hardly even call that an S13 anymore with how drastically different the specs are from it and your average Silvia. Oh jeez. Schwartz checked up on exit for some reason. Riel just about sent him to the Shadow Realm as a result. There's an awkward exit for Charlotte. Schwartz elects to go defensive into the last turn, and he has completely over-fucking-cooked it. Not great, Dedrick. Not great. Dude thought he was an NPC in Pro Racing Evolution. He got intimidated and just forgot how to make a turn. Giving himself major damage in the process, which will have to immediately pit to deal with that. As with that, we are now on 2 laps to go, based on relativity to the session timer. Stephanie is still not, well, I guess now neither is Schwartz, since he just had to fix his car. He's going to come out with, well, he's going to basically exit in no man's land. He's going to be nowhere near McIntosh, but he's also not going to be anywhere near the collection of 680 class cars, as led by Thrasher. Led by quite a ways by Thrasher, you might add. And yes, I did say that right. Brandt is technically a 720 class car now. It's a weird case with him. Never mind for that thought. Thought we were gonna have a battle. Oh, we might still have one. Riel is in the wall, and uh-oh. That portion going nowhere after that. It's 3 consecutive wall taps. Just tried to, they make a bit of contact there. On the exit of the hairpin. Riel's trying to force herself into a space that isn't there, and then she goes wide, not really sure of how Barbara's about to take the death chicane. The answer is correctly. And, I mean, if nothing else, Riel was doing her best to make sure that whatever the fuck happened, it didn't collect Barbara, which it didn't. I think as you kind of see there, she drove herself at the wall to make sure she didn't collect Barbara's quarter panel. As she continued to make the corner, she could have made it. She could have just not turned here. But she's trying to avoid running into Barbara's car. Which she then, as a result, puts herself in the wall, breaking her right front suspension. Which causes that. And that is a DNF, and from what I understand, retroactively, that is also a totaled car, as the suspension damage dealt was too great. And that also red flags the race, as we were basically about to start the final lap. And Barbara had such a lead over Stephanie that, well, us admins, by that I actually just mean I wasn't at this race, but Thrasher was. And Nidori was the race director. They both were just kind of like, yeah, just call the race here. There's a bunch of There's a bunch of Porsche parts laying in the chicane. Barbara's obviously got this race in hand if this doesn't happen. And it's what, going to be a one-lap restart? There's no point. As I was going to say, the thing with Brandt is, like, his car is still sitting in the 680 range, 680.15, so it's not even high in the range. It's low. Because just the deal of the car being what it is. But the speed difference between his car and the other 680s, we kind of told him, like, not really that safe when you're able to hit 230 at Monza and the rest of the cars in this category struggle to reach 170. And you're just like, yeah, I can't disagree with that. So he was agreed to be moved into the 720 class. It allowed him to change his car's parameters a little bit to take it out of 680. So he's now at like 685 performance points or something. But he runs 720. Just because the horsepower alone would put him in 760, and the weight, honestly, I think it's an anomaly, and Nitteri's like scrutineering machinery that it even thought this car was anywhere near 680 when it has the horsepower to make Rise's Veyron look stupid in a straight line. But I digress. So yeah, that is a DNF'd Porsche Cayman right there. That car isn't going anywhere.